Hello, everyone. My name is Gerald with Mindset Moments. Just wanted to bring you a brief description of what I call the 5 principles of relationship building. These principles are more or less going to be built on an analogy of building a house, but we're going to be talking about relationships. So without further ado, let's go into them. I'm going to go over the 5 and give you a little brief synopsis of each one. And first, one part of the principles is number 1 is going to be the principle of a house. First principle is the foundation. So the foundation, which is going to consist of, just like it sounds, the things you stand on. Well, let me do this. Let me just go ahead and list all 5. Then I come back, I touch on each one here and there, and then we'll go from there. All right. Is that cool with you? All right. Appreciate it. All right. So let's look at it like this. Number 1 is foundation. Number 2 is the walls, which we know what the walls, framing, whatever you want to call it. And number 3 is going to be the roof. It's going to be the roof, the covering, whatever you want to call it. Number 4 is going to be the plumbing. You know what the plumbing does for your house. You know what you use plumbing. You flush your toilets and all those different things. Okay. And number 5 is going to be the electrical. Okay. So now we have those 5 out of the way. Remember, the first is foundation. Second is the walls. Third is the roofing. And 4th is the plumbing. And 5th is the electrical. Okay. So now let's go into number 1. The foundation. And what I'm going to do briefly on this, I'm going to give you a little brief synopsis of each one. And then I plan on doing like a 5-part series where I'm going to get more in depth with each different step and each different principle when it comes to relationship building. Okay, so first of all, foundation. We know what foundation is. Foundation is what holds up the structure. You put your foundation down. This is what you stand on. This is what's going to hold up whatever it is you put on top of it. Whether when it's a house, you know it's going to hold up everything else that sits on top of it. That may be anything. And you know, depending on what you make the foundation out of is depending on how much weight this relationship can withstand. Remember that. Depending on what you make the foundation out of is how much weight the structure can stand. Likewise, that's also going to be the same in a relationship. Depending on what your relationship was made out of, it's going to depend on what that relationship can withstand. Okay? All right. So we have foundation. So now we're going to number 2. Number 2 is going to be the walls. Walls, framing, whatever, however you want to look at it. And now what the walls is going to do, the walls is going to basically put something around the foundation or the relationship. So when you have walls, once you put walls up, generally that means you can't see outside the relationship. Now remember that the walls, you cannot see outside the relationship. So framing, walls, however you want to call it, that's going to be what puts around the actual things that just come from the everyday walk of life into your relationship, or someone just been able to speak into it, or whatever you may, those things that you can see that comes and bothers into your relationship. That's the walls. Okay. Now let's go on to number 3. Number 3 is going to be the roofing, the covering. This is what's going to protect you from all those things unpredictable, unknown, and unseeable. Because we know every day in how we live, we can see things when we're walking. We can see things on our level. For some things, we get a surprise. For an example, when it rains, you don't see the raindrop until it hits the ground, or until it hits the water, or until it hits something around you. You don't see the rain generally before it starts to fall. When the first raindrop falls, you don't notice it until it gets to a point within the atmosphere where you can see it. That's the covering. It protecting you from those things you normally don't see, those things you can't account for, those things that's going to affect the relationship. Okay? So that was number 3. All right. Number 4 is the plumbing. Okay. So the plumbing is generally going to be those things that's going to provide the, let's say, like necessities. When you have plumbing in your house, and I hope this relates, whether this is in your house, apartment, everyone who's watching this, you know what you've used plumbing at one point in your life. whether that's turning on your water, whether that's utilizing the shower, utilizing the bathroom. That plumbing is going to be the things that have to sustain the actual necessities of the relationships. So that's going to be the different things that provides the, let's say, the nurturing part, the more or less caring part, the things that you just do on the average day that helps to facilitate what we would consider to be in a relationship. Okay? So that's the plumbing. It's going to supply everything in. And the plumbing, yes, the plumbing is also going to be those things for your physical needs. Anything that you consider physical needs, that is what your plumbing is going to supply. Okay? All right. So that was number 4. So now we move into number 5. Number 5 is the electrical, which we know within a house, electricity provides most of the things that we need for entertainment, for things that we need to do. We need light to be able to do something else. Most things we don't need light just for light. We need light to do something else. We need light or electricity to watch TV. We need light or electricity to be able to see in a room. We need electricity to be able to turn on the AC. You don't have to have the AC, but if you have AC, you need electricity to run it. You need electricity to keep your refrigerator cool. But you don't have to have electricity to keep your refrigerator cool, because when the electricity goes down, you find other means of being able to utilize electricity, or being able to, you may use a cooler. Think back in the old days, they had what was really called an ice box, but they didn't have electricity, but they put the actual ice in a box and put the food in there. So that is electricity. So going back over all 5, that is the 5th one, electrical. So going over all 5, we have the foundation, we have the walls and framing. Number 3 is the roofing. Number 4 is the plumbing. And number 5 is the electrical. This is what I call the 5 principles of relationship building. So like I said in the beginning, we're going to go back over some of these, and I'm going to make a 5-part series, and I'm going to touch on each one a little more in depth. So if you have any questions, or even if you don't agree with me, put it in the contents. Put it down in the comments, rather, and let me know what you think. And if you have a different opinion, you're all welcome. Like I said, this is just principles on building relationships, things that a lot of people do not think about when they're trying to establish a relationship. So this is mindset moments, and with everything in a mindset, there's moments where your mind may be thinking one thing, which may cause you to believe something that's not actually there or true. That's the reason why we call this mindset moments. All right. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, make a comment. I look forward to talking to you soon. Y'all take care. This is Gerald again. All right. Y'all be blessed. Bye.